Alright, guys. Welcome back to kind of my binge a lot of series to get caught up. I don't know what this is, but um so I'm gonna start the next series I'm kind of getting back to is Frieren. I So a lot of people were talking about not liking kind of where the anime left off, which is them doing that competition segment to see who's going to, I can't remember what they call it, the next high mage thing. So I was like, okay, like I liked it. I thought it was a good section. I liked that they were kind of finding their doppelgangers. I really I really did enjoy that. Um but I was like, okay, like a lot of people were saying you need to go forward. Um and I love Fearing, you can see behind me that this is a good series. Like I love this series. I think Fearing as a character is really interesting. Um, and the side characters are really interesting. And her backstory and kind of seeing her growing into her own in a lot of ways. And her learning to kind of trust again and building up her new kind of party again is really interesting to me. Um, and the love story between these two is just like adorable. I really do like it. But it's also interesting because I don't want to completely call her asexual, but having a heroine that her main thing is not about a guy that she wanted to be with and stuff like that and her regret. Um her like I think her major regret with the previous party is that I don't think she got to know them as well and she was very closed off. And they are the main thing about this series is she was part of the epic party that took down the Demon King. And it starts with one of them passing away, and then she's been just like losing a little bit of that major party, and then she wants to go. She's now set herself up to go on a new quest. To I think she's fighting another demon or something. Um, but in these 3 volumes, it's not necessarily about Fearin, it's about the demons. And I thought the demons were actually very, very interesting. Um, because I feel like they're kind of the typical demons. They're still evil, but I don't think they're evil just to be evil. And I think that's the whole thing about this series is that it is definitely a battle of good and evil, but it's not really about that. It's really about Farron finding her own self in her own journey after the end of the journey. After the end of her first journey, going into the second journey. And like learning about humans, and not taking taking humans' life in so much for granted. And I think that's like the main thing of this. It's not really necessarily about the plot. Because even though there is a plot, we're following her and stuff, it's not plot heavy, it's more of a character analysis. And I think that's some of the thing that makes this series kind of go up and down for me is there's parts of this that are very, very slow. There is parts of it that are really, really slow, and then you have the action-packed parts of this as well. Like, Volume 9 wasn't very action-packed, but 10 and 11, those fight scenes were fantastic. And it makes me excited for season 2. Now, I made a mistake when I went to the library because they didn't have 8. But I was like, with Frieren, you don't need... I skipped a volume. Let me just put it that way. I skipped a volume. I found it okay. Like, I don't know what... I will see it eventually when the season 2 comes out. Yeah, I fell in love with the characters. I love the other mages that they did the games with. I'm hoping we see them off and on. Which it seems like we do, because he's one of the guys that are in the trying to be a high mage. So we will probably see them off and on. I don't know how long this series is going to last, to be honest. It's kind of one of those series, like, it could go on forever. Or like we could, like, speed through stuff. But this writer that writes Frieren doesn't seem like they want to rush. Like, I see Frieren so much in the writer themselves, where she wants to find the small spells. She wants to, like, get to know humans again and build trust and everything, but she's not in a rush in life. Like, a big joke is she sleeps in every day. Like, you go, girl. Like, seriously. Well, and the thing is, it's like, as old as she is like, in human years, is like, she's still like a teenager, is kind of how she acts. So it's like, it did make sense for her to be with Hamill, which was the guy that I thought there might be something between those two, where she just doesn't seem like she was really interested. And she kind of says that in the beginning. Like, she's like, yeah, we don't really... There's not love or anything like that. We just kind of reproduce. And that's just kind of how it goes. So, I think she respected Hamill very, very much. And I think there was a lot of likeness. But when it came to anything else, I think it's just... It's just this small thing that I just... think she wasn't ready for. It's gonna be interesting if she maybe finds another elf, and maybe, there's a love story there. If there is, I don't think there's going to be. I think we have it with the 2 younger ones a lot more, because I feel like in a story like this, you need to have something to kind of root for in that kind of direction, because it is very, very slow, and usually in, like, a slow story like this, there's, like, some type of romance or something like that that's kind of, like, still, you're still working with, and everything, but yeah, it's interesting, like, kind of how you read the Hamill and Frieren kind of storyline. It makes me cry every single time we see them, because it's just... I think you feel her heartbreak throughout the whole story. Like, it's not something that, oh, okay, so we went to his funeral, he passed in the first volume, and then we never feel that pain again. It's all the way through the story. It's something that she always goes back to. Like, if she's doing something that justifies, like, there's so many flashbacks. Flashbacks are actually done really, really well in this series to be like, oh, like she's remembering like when they went to their first cave, or like this first dungeon, and how that went, and then like when they first did this, and like what it was like for her when she was first introduced to the group. And so there's like this intensity like still with that, where she still feels the regret. And I think that's really important in a series like this, that she's never going to fully be over it. Like, she could pick like the very best like new group to travel with, but she still feels the hurt of her first group. Um and that's just something, like, when you're living in that stage of like mourning, where it's like you just feel the regret. Like, and I feel like the author does a really good job of expressing that with the flashbacks. Like, it's, you don't get over it. Like, you don't get over your first, like, I'm not going to say love, but your first, like, found family. That's what this story really is it's like a big, huge found family, where it's like they needed to defeat the Demon King. They got the group together, and now now you're seeing like kind of the major, what would that do to the last person surviving. And that's really what this story is about, is, what would that be like? Like, would you be thankful that happened, or would you have a lot of regret because you didn't do what you needed to do? And I think the ending that I want is that she finally does accept like her mourning of the people that she's lost, and she can take a deep breath, and enjoy what she has now, and get to some type of acceptance with her grief. Like, it's not the most probably happy ending. I do feel like we're probably going to, in this, we're gonna lose side characters. Like, I don't think we're gonna lose the main three. But we are probably gonna lose some side characters. Like, there is still gonna be more loss. And I think that's very important for this series. Like, it's a funny series where they have like gags. I compare this to kind of like Full Metal Alchemist, where the humor is well placed, but when they need to get down and gritty about things, they get down and gritty. And I feel like that's the same thing with Frieren, is that, like, there's moments where I feel like we're just sitting in her grief for a second, and like, we need that as an audience. She needs that as a character development, and we need that as an audience member to understand where she's coming from, because she comes off very, very cold. I find that even in like these further series, like, what I think is kind of impressive about these covers and like the picture behind me is she's not smiling. She's pretty serious. I know it's like, this is like her in her battle form. So she is a lot more lighthearted when they are shopping. Like, she spends too much money. She doesn't know money management. It's kind of hilarious. Cause I don't know money management sometimes myself, but like, she's relatable in that essence. But if, like, us as a reader, like, we're not, like, humans aren't meant to be that cold in the most part. But I mean, she's lived and she's seen things and she's lost, and it's just like, you feel like by the time you get to where we are in the story, it's like that is weighing down so much on her, where it's like, okay, like, I get it. I get why you're cold. And I think these, learning more about the demons really gave me, like, a lot more respect, because I love when we go to, like, the villains of the story and we get their perspective. And I think they did this really well. I can get into My Hero Academia a little bit, where I didn't think My Hero, like, that portion was done very well. I still felt for the villains. I felt like they were, I felt like there could have been more. And if you're a My Hero Academia fan, please don't come after me. But I feel like Frieren did it a lot better. Where, I felt more, and I think it's because there's a lot less characters in this, as there is in My Hero. My Hero has so many characters. Where sorry, I'm dog sitting and I was just trying to keep the dog calm. But anyway, yeah, so it's just this intensity of, it's just this whole thing of, I mean, we're dealing with somebody that's so cold. And I think what's really interesting, especially about some of the new characters that we have, they are a lot older characters. Like, we're getting some more young people, but we're getting a lot of older people too. And we got another elf added that's, I'm not sure where the main holder of the scrolls that decided the fate, I don't know where their alliance is. Yet. Which is really interesting. So, yeah, so that's just Frieren in a nutshell and how I'm feeling about it. I think I have 2 more to get completely caught up. So I might look and see if those are at the library. But anyway, if you want to hear more, I have one more video about My Gently Raised Beast and Magnus of the Library. That's going to be after this. And then if you just want more reviews and everything, just like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.